For this lab, we are determining the total carbohydrate content in beers and soft drinks. These are the samples: regular Sprite, zero sugar Sprite, Corona Light beer, and Corona Premium beer. We pour the samples into beakers and we will let the samples rest until all the carbonate disappear. We're going to prepare different dilutions for the samples. For the regular Sprite, we will be diluting 1 to 2000. For the Corona regular, we will be diluting 1 to 2000 as well. For the Corona Light, we will be diluting 1 to 1000. However, for the zero sugar Sprite, we will not do any dilutions. Starting from the regular Sprite, I will be pipetting 1.5 milliliters of the sample and adding it to the volumetric flask in the back. We will do the same for the Corona regular. However, for the Corona Light, we will be pipetting 1 milliliter of the sample. We'll start by pipetting 0.5 milliliter of the sample, and then another 0.5 milliliter. Then I will add more DI water to the volumetric flask to the line. We're going to prepare the standard curve. We have the 100 milligrams of glucose over 1 liter of water solution. First, I will prepare the blank, which I will be only using DI water. I will pipette 2 milliliters of DI water into my blank. According to the lab manual, I'll be preparing 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 micrograms of glucose per 2 milliliters. For the 20 micrograms per 2 milliliters, I will be pipetting 0.2 milliliters of glucose and 1.8 milliliters of water. I will start with the water so I don't have to change the tip. Now I'm going to pipette 1 milliliters of water into the Sprite regular, zero Sprite, Corona regular, and Corona Light. I'm going to pipette 1 milliliter of diluted Sprite regular into the corresponding test tube. Sprite Zero, I already pipetted 1 milliliter of undiluted solution. For the Corona regular and Corona Light, I will pipette 1 milliliter of the diluted solutions into the corresponding test tubes. Now we're going to pipette 0.05 grams of phenol 80% into each test tube. We will mix each solution using the vortex. We're going to add 5 milliliter of sulfuric acid into each test tube. But before doing that, we need to pipette the sulfuric acid into the sodium bicarbonate. We need to get all the air bubbles out to make sure that the volume will be even. The reaction occurring in each solution, the test tubes are very hot, and you can see the color change. We will let them rest for 20 minutes so that the temperature of the solutions will return to room temperature. After cooling for 20 minutes, I will pipette 1 milliliters of each sample to its corresponding labeled cuvette to take their absorbance. I will start from the lowest concentration to the highest concentration to avoid changing the pipette tip. However, for the Sprite and beer samples, I will be changing the pipette tip for each. We are going to set up the spectrophotometer at 490 nanometers. We're going to zero the machine with the blink. Now we find the absorbance for every solution. This is the absorbance reading for 20 micrograms of glucose per 2 milliliters. This is the absorbance reading for 40 micrograms of glucose per 2 milliliters. This is the absorbance reading for 60 micrograms of glucose per 2 milliliters. This is the absorbance reading for 80 micrograms of glucose per 2 milliliters. This is the absorbance reading for 100 micrograms of glucose per 2 milliliters. Next, we will find the absorbance for the Sprite and beer samples, starting from the regular Sprite. This is the absorbance reading for regular Sprite. This is the absorbance reading for zero Sprite. This is the absorbance reading for Corona regular. This is the absorbance reading for Corona light. Concludes the Total Carbohydrate Lab.